Hey guys, it's Quinn, and today a list that has been long overdue, the top 10 James Bond car chases. This list is based on how enjoyable the chase is, plus its iconic status. This list only makes the cut if it involves cars. I'm very strict about this in this list, and so unfortunately the bike chases in Octopussy and Tomorrow Never Dies, as well as the tank chase in Goldeneye, are both disqualified. Besides that, it's a pretty straightforward list. Let's crack at it with the best car chases of the Bond series. Number 10, Escape from Bunt on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Kicking off our list is a car chase that I feel is often forgotten, largely down to the fact that this is known as one of the more slower paced Bond films. But what I really enjoy about this chase is how it is just a bonding moment between Bond and Tracy. The fact that she is there to help him and how Bond accepts her help and goes along with her is a really great development between the two characters. This film is very good because it develops a relationship between Bond and a Bond girl that I don't think is paralleled in the rest of the series, and that does include Casino Royale. Although this chase isn't the most exciting in the series, the fact that it actually has some development to the plot is something that is not true for the rest of the chases on this list, so kudos to this chase for the plot development. And besides that, it is a really genuinely fun chase, and I think one of the more exciting points in the entire film. In a film that does have some very good fights, I really do have to give this scene credit for boosting the energy of the film overall. Number 9, Vegas, Diamonds Are Forever. Definitely the most crazy of the Bond chases up to this point in the series. The Vegas car chase is your typical Bond chase. Bond versus 50 cars, crazy stunts, damage to the city. Mwah, it's beautiful. I remember when I was 6, the bit when Bond goes sideways on the car was my favorite scene in all of Bond, and for good reason. It is one of the coolest stunts in the entire series, and actually made my list for the top 10 stunts in this series, because even though it isn't the most exciting, it just feels more real. And what's good is that this entire chase just has that same persona, with the loud skidding noises of the cars and the genuine car crashes, making this chase just feel fun, real, and therefore exciting. Later films go insane in the car chases. Take a View to a Kill with Bond driving half a car, which barely missed out on this list, by the way, but this chase is just clean, simple, and in my opinion, great. Number 8, Rome from Spectre. Going from realistic to jumping the shark, this one is almost so crazy that it's hard to take seriously. I've only seen it once, so I can't go too in-depth on it, but it's really just a fun car chase that showcases two of the coolest cars, I think, in the series. Sure, not that much actually happens. It's really just NASCAR if you go down to it, but it's perfectly matched to the high budget film that it's in, and this was definitely a high budget car chase. I love it in cinemas because it just pops off the screen, and even if not much happens, it's fun to watch the really cool cars go around this exotic location. I think it's just a great showcase for the vehicles themselves. Number 7, Goldfinger. Probably the most famous car chase in the series. The Aston Martin chase is really fantastic because of its use of gadgets to make the chase more than simply cars driving. You have oil slicks, literal smokes and mirrors, and of course the ejector seat. As with Goldfinger as a whole, this car chase really set the standard for the rest of the films to come. You have high-octane action with Bond fighting dozens of guys, really exciting music, and just overall fun action. This is a perfect insertion of action in Goldfinger that, up to this point in the film, did not have much action involved. The transition that this chase creates between the setup of the first third of the movie and the really exciting final two-thirds is brilliantly done. The action is superb, and damn it, that Aston Martin is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Number 6, The Parking Lot from Tomorrow Never Dies. Pretty similar to Goldfinger, but a more modern spin on it, so I'll keep it quick, but this one has to go down as one of the craziest action scenes, I think, in all of Bond. You have cars flying off rooftops, you have bazookas being fired, Bond driving his car as if it were an actual video game, and the sheer fact that no one catches Bond is almost unbelievable. This scene is genuinely just a lot of fun, and for the creativity in this scene alone, this car chase definitely deserves a spot on this list. Number 5, The Living Daylights. One that reminds me a lot of Diamonds Are Forever. This one nudges into the top 5 because more than any other car chase, there are explosions and seemingly every single bit of it. This is definitely the most dramatic car chase in quite some time in the series, and it is particularly exciting because there is an actual purpose to this chase. Having the idea of Bond needing to get to the border brings up a whole host of possibilities for the screenwriters, and I love how they use this backdrop to really create a dramatic scene that juxtaposes the really sneaky defection scene of Koskov in the beginning of the film. Although the fact that the car shoots lasers is kind of stupid, everything else is badass, and for me is an exclamation point on an already tremendous Bond film. I really love how it transitions into them riding the cello a few minutes after the scene, and overall I just think it's a brilliant done bit in a really brilliant Bond film. Number 4, The Man with the Golden Gun. Home to perhaps the greatest stunt in all of Bond, which is quite a proclamation if you think about it. Golden Guns' car chase is one of the few bursts of energy in an otherwise tame film. I really enjoy the effort that seems was put into this car chase. For every little stunt and every little shot is so meticulously choreographed that you can tell that this was supposed to be the highlight of the film. And although I think the actual shootout between Bond and Scaramanga is a better action scene, this car chase has all the fixings for some great action. Against popular opinion, I think the racial slurs by J.W. Peppers in the scene are so unnecessary that it becomes funny. The dynamic of Bond actually chasing someone instead of running away is new to the series, and of course, the bridge flip is absolutely amazing. I remember when I was younger, I thought it was fake. That's how cool it is. This music for the scene is probably the best in all of the film, excluding the slide whistle and the bridge flip. And overall, the scene just felt like it received the love and the care that was missing from the rest of the film. Number 3, Quantum of Solace pre-title sequence. A very choppy scene, but one that does have really great action. This opening scene is probably the best scene in the film minus the bell tower fight, and really carries on the great energy from Casino Royale. Although people complain about the poor editing as a problem in this film, the almost jump cut level editing in the scene really does create an atmosphere of insanity, which I think is the goal of the scene and ends up working very well. Bond just murdering people left and right is something straight out of a video game, which I'm fine with because I think it's entertaining. And by finding out that Mr. White is in the backseat the entire time, I think was actually kind of funny. It's not perfect, but damn it, it is fast paced more than any other chase in the series, I would say. Number 2, Die Another Day, Ice Palace. Narrowly missing out in the top spot, this scene for me is a revamped version of the car chase from Goldfinger. You have insane gadgets, multiple locations for the chase itself, that being in and out of the Ice Palace, and the ending to the chase is just very satisfying when the ice pick comes down and just destroys the entire thing. I think the reason, though, I love this scene so much is because the action holds up for a solid 8 minutes and never dies down. To use a modern example, the reason Mad Max Fury Road is so good is because you never get a break from the action. It just keeps hitting you. And the same is true for this scene from Die Another Day. And on top of that, the cars themselves are really cool vehicles. And I know I get hate for this, but I really liked the use of the invisible cloak for the car. It added a new dimension to the entire chase, and I thought that the scene itself really took advantage of the location, using the slick ice and the crumbling of the palace to make the entire scene more hectic. The movie itself is a mess, but it's scenes like these that I find myself enjoying this film more and more. Number 1, The Spy Who Loved Me. This scene is perfect on so many fronts. You have Jaws, you have motorcycles, you have trucks, you have helicopters, you have other cars, you have boats, and you have those beautiful quips from Bond. This scene really just combines everything that is great about James Bond action scenes as a whole. They're extremely over the top, sure, but damn it, that's why we love them. For me, what wins this scene over is the fact that the car turns into a submarine, and from there we get a whole second action bit of Bond versus scuba divers. I talked earlier about how these scenes felt like video games, but this one just really is. He goes from a motorcycle to a big villain in Jaws, and then a boss stage in a helicopter, and then a bonus stage underwater. If that isn't all you could possibly want in a car chase, well, then there's just no way of appeasing you, isn't there? This scene is absolutely perfect if you want a James Bond car chase, and that is why it is number 1 on our list. So with that, what is your favorite James Bond card chase, and what topic should I do next? Whatever it may be, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for more James Bond movie content. Ciao.